Well, hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for your patience. Apologies for the delays, but hey, we didn't have a game to watch. So, hopefully you got something good done in between. But we're back and we're ready to finalize things here today. Our final best of three of the day, Mark. And it's an exciting one. I did say this is the one I'm most excited for. So, I mean, let's jump right in. Ruby versus One Win, dude. I'm pumped.
Yeah, man. Both of these teams, I was excited to both watch again today. Yesterday, I got to, hop on with Exner and watch both AmCal and Ruby. I was hoping to follow it up again, again today with AmCal, but at least I'll be able to do it with Ruby because these guys, look, man, I'm always excited to watch along with Cade. I really am a fan of McQueen. I think that, what they can do is just sometimes spectacular, but I watched them struggle out of that series versus Reason where they came in swinging. I mean, they had all the momentum in that day. I mean, that morning and this is as like, unconventional, don't take this point seriously. They beat Simple, baby. No, they did. I mean, they like really, really cleaned out that BC game team in a nice 2-0 earlier in the morning. And that's why, like, when they 13-8 Reason on that Dust 2, I'm like, this is going to be a quick series, man. But then Reason reverse sweep them, and that's why you catch them at the 1-1 stage here today. I think that these guys have all of it that it should take, to push a playoff here if it does get a little bit, heated in that, like, later stage. Like, this is a matchup they must win, Vincent. And I think when you go up against CIS opponents that you're going to be very familiar with, that's only going to help you.
Yeah, listen, I think that this Ruby team has kind of proven what they can be, and that's via a bunch of different iterations, right? This team, in this exact iteration, some changes during the offseason to bring Trinick in, and before that, it was McQueen at the beginning of the offseason, actually, or right before it, more accurately. That comes in and bolsters this roster. It's a one-win team, though. If I can flip things over to talk about them for a second, that I'm pretty excited about, just like tentatively, mostly because you can't help but be excited for a team with Hobbit on it, low key. But
Yes.
I'm also excited to see Laddick come back in and be playing pretty well. This guy is one of the dudes in the region that I feel like, and there's a couple of them at this point because we've had so many years of like strong CIS talents that have come through and been really good. But this is one of those strong CIS talents from, like, I will say, I feel like 2023, that was looking to be one of the next up, and just didn't really deliver on that promise, joined by a couple of guys that were actually from the One Win Academy project, and now playing for the main roster. It's Cronus, who I believe is calling, and Ozik as the other academy side, joining a core with a lot of experience, right? When you're talking about Hobbit, obviously, but Laddick, despite his age, still very experienced player, and of course Inters, who is more of a recent name in like the 2020s and onward, but still has tons of lands under his belt. Like, this is a really cool project for me.
Yeah, it was Inters that hopped on to that second belt of the, the Cloud9, that carry on of the young Gambit roster out there with Otic, and that was fun to watch. But, to have Hobbit join another, batch of youngsters, essentially, Vincent, like, I think that this One Win roster heads heads really in a good spot. I've heard a lot of good things about Cronus, and I think that, where you talk about a guy like Laddie, I think this is a guy I'm really looking forward to watching, but it really comes down to the same thing that we were just yapping about with Ruby and how, much respect to a young roster we give, right? I mean, in particular, because Cade is this young in-game leader that we do give a lot of respect to. He's 25, Vinny. He's young. But in comparison to Cronus, who does have 4 years on him at 21, I mean, this is also another exciting experience, in-game leader that we should yap about in the CIS region, for good reason.
Yeah, listen, and it's the excitement is there mostly because we know the stories of a player who may have been a star or a different role within previous teams and is getting older, starts to move over into an in-game leadership role. It's a move that makes sense. It's logical, right? But then to see some like homegrown, it's my idea from the beginning to be an in-game leader, right? Like that's pretty rare if we're being honest. So I think that's kind of the reason that there's that type of excitement. It's one win who have already made their way through the play-in stage at this point. They topped their group. It was a tight series against Chemistry that they won in order to get here and into the 1-1 stage. It's going to be interesting to see because I mean, realistically, talking about that and their build. Otherwise, this 1-win team doesn't have a ton of victories under their belt that's super notable. So, Ruby comes in as the pretty heavy favorites in this one, no matter how you slice it in that department. But as we jump over to the veto mark, I got the chance to peek at these ahead of time,
Okay.
and I didn't know quite where to like place this. I feel like there's some good opportunities for 1-win here, but Ruby certainly have a strong end to this series. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I mean, even like I feel like Ruby could mess around and win this train. Like, I feel like this yellow brick road, the end of it, is as good of a pillow you can put your head back on if you are slipping, off of that first sequence of a train. Which, if we're talking about, where we, rock in with all the series and our expectations to Ruby being a favorite and yada yada. Like, I think that this could be, a nice, and I know I'm shooting for like the fan opinion here because we did not have a third matchup, but for the sake of everybody at home, Vinny, why not have this go 3 maps? I would love to see a close train, like a nice win against 4-1 win here, rather, pushing back on a map pick that they should absolutely be showing off into if they're this confident about it at the beginning of this series, because there were other avenues, but I think this puts it better on the tracks for me. Pun definitely intended, wasn't a great one.
Listen, I do think that Ruby probably a little underrated right now because of their win rate being so bad on this map. They're losing to good teams mostly on this map. So I think you're right about that they can mess around and find a way to win despite that fact. But 1-win, listen, this has been the map that they've been able to hang their hat on, right? Talking about like tough victories and having to work their way through things. It was a bunch of games that they've been able to take victories on here on Train. So yeah, for me, I think 1-win, it's got to be on Train that they start this out, and that's not to say that they can't win any of these other maps. I think the Mirage is very very winnable, but of course you got to get there, and an Ancient that I think at least is going to be a little bit competitive. I still favor Ruby heavily for that one, though. So that leaves me feeling like 1-win. It's like chances, but it does need to start here on Train, in my opinion.
A great place too, man. I can't tell you how many famous moments over the years I've watched. A Hobbit Gambit team do some crazy stuff on a train. That's me shooting for some anecdotal points that we'll probably reminisce on a time or two. We'll throw these to an actual, discussion we can have, because I'm not too familiar with this Ozic player. If I am saying that incorrectly, please jump in now. I think I'm good. Trunic has been impressing me over, the last couple series that I've gotten to see Ruby. Those 3 maps that I got to watch the other day, he played a very good one. This is a guy that's going to show up at those anchor spots. I mean, has a lot of experience at only 21 years old, was a brief part of Nine Pandas, but mainly was a part of this DNA that joins up into this team from Team Space, similar to Hasinator, right? Having a similar ride, just like Fossil. So, these guys have some good weaves there, but where you tote this guy up, in the head-to-head, personally, I think it should be Hasinator up here for, the peaks that we can see this aggressive rifler get, because in my opinion, he's truly the X Factor player, Vincent. But, I think it's honestly great where we get to show off some of the anchor stats and this consistency and how fun it is to watch Trunic and how, big of a glue piece he is for a squad like Ruby, which can really thrive in the chaos.
Yeah, I think that it is a little bit weird to have him in the head-to-head here, just because of the reasons that you just highlighted, where he isn't like the it factor necessarily. Not that he can't be. I think that the rating kind of speaks for itself as like where he's been at, like in general with regard to how much impact we've been seeing. But yeah, I do think also it goes to show that Ruby as a whole, it can be a pretty wide array of individuals stepping up to take this team over the line. Ozic, though, I mean, he's I think the youngest player in the server at 19 years old. And he was the other piece to this
That is
one
correct.
win academy that was moved with a couple of steps in between over from that to this main roster comes over with Cronus, excuse me. And I
Yes.
think that the reality is that he's been putting together a whole lot of impressive stuff. I've been pretty interested to kind of see this guy play firsthand because of the games that I've been watching from the sideline. So especially for a guy that is pretty new to competition, I'm very excited about it. I'm happy to see, and especially with the performances that he's been letting up lately. With all of that being said, it sounded to me though like we are not quite ready to get things
Not
moving on
again.
this. Yeah, hopefully not
We
anything
shouldn't be having
similar.
that. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
joshing.
haven't heard anything about that. But what I
Yeah.
have heard is that we're going to take a second to get things popping for this one. So we're going to take a break, and when we return, we're going to jump right into trade.
Blindsided, I trusted, fell for you. What a stupid thing to do. Blindsided, high hopes, but they fell away the moment you lied to me. Blindsided, misguided, led astray, trusted too easy. Blindsided, strung out on the smallest string, had me questioning everything. I don't know where I am now. Pedestal I had you on is crumbling down on the ground. It was all illusion. Where do I go?
Well, we finally got our 1-1 Swiss games online here, Vincent. Ruby versus 1win, and we're running into Train. I couldn't be happier to finally get to be actually casting some Counter-Strike with you, buddy.
I know. It's been a long road to get here.
It
Two pairs
has.
of dualies getting up into the mix.
What's up with this?
McQueen already doing a lot of damage. Hobbit is starting on a pretty rough foot.
Guy McQueen is Exner and I's favorite player. Love seeing him on this AWP. Actually is great on that. Going absolutely huge yesterday. Couldn't do enough, though. Shake out that series. 1win are intimidated here.
I mean,
Turn
I kind of
around.
would be too.
See those
Especially-
dualies? Oh, yeah. Sheesh.
Especially now, as they didn't have any other map control. Trying to walk out of this is scary in its own right. There's no guarantees you're not going to run into any silliness further forward. Fortunately for 1win, that isn't going to be the case.
Finally, the real deal. Just took us a minute and 15 to make it happen. Molotov that's facing out into the front of Pop right here. So Trunic can, just bend and weave. And goodness me, absolutely threads the needle and makes him bleed. But enters, he gets a double, maybe even a third does. And I think he just got spotting onto Cade. Taps this bomb, and he is just going to try and hook him in, and enters with a huge quad kill to kick us off here. 1win's map pick is already off to a great start.
Yeah, I mean, that's some impressive shooting out of enters. It's sort of the second stage to this attack, though. It's this trade, and then he gets up into the mix and makes sure that basically the entirety of this A-bomb site just cannot be retaken. Every attempt to head back through the molly that was holding off the move from Pop goes away, and Inters handles business one after another there. Atlantic for support over on the opposite side of Sandwich. Ruby had so much map control for the majority of that round. It's crazy how dominantly they got removed from the site.
It's either a Trunic triple or a Inter's quad kill there in the menu. We did not have a choice in that matter. Those were the options. I'm just letting you know. Okay, I want to yap about Hobbit's haircut, but it seems like we got a force buy on the line, Vincent. I'm a fan. Man. He's styling.
Speaking of, a little bit of a look-see towards B. Meets more resistance than maybe he was thinking, and I think that's what's going to cause this reaction for 1win.
Some problems here. Dealing far too much damage on that long-range MAC-10. Inter's not going to make this a problem. Everybody is gone and gutted. Ruby, they'll rotate back around, but it's a 2v5, Vincent. And I gotta ask, man, you did not care to comment on Hobbit's hair. I know you were trying to actually do your job and cast around, but dude, he's styling.
I agree with you. I was gonna add something, but yeah, the round is
okay.
happening. The thing I want to add though is that particularly in this 1win jersey as well, this got to be one of the most unique 1win, like this jersey rather, got to be one of the most unique in esports. I'm kind of vibing with it, to be honest. It's a little bit off the beaten path, but I'm not afraid of that.
Laddie is I'm definitely not saying that correctly. How am I approaching the young Opper's name here? I don't want to. I'm going to need to say it. I know a lot this game.
I'm going to keep it a buck. I've gone with Laddie for actually years, and then I was told Laddick as well, but you do you.
Makes sense.
This is what I've determined.
Coming over from Aurora, obviously, at some point, this guy has worn some drippy jerseys, Vinny.
That's true. Aurora had
the design game is currently pretty fire in terms of esports culture. I kind of wish people would appreciate that more. Across all games.
You and I
know
both,
me, man.
We are like #1 fans of talking about esports merch on broadcast.
Look good, you gotta play good, Vinny. Represents a little bit more than just a jersey. Here goes Hasanator. He's gonna be reckon Inter is out here, and they're still reaching for some sort of buy here, even on the ground that they have. To be honest with you, can't knock them for it. They are feeling it from every single direction right here. Cronus will solve the problem. If not the jump shot, Fossil and some great heads with the 5-7. It's a 3v3 until those words leave my mouth and Hobbit finds McQueen. And Fossil, not long for this world in similar fronts. It's Trunic pushed out. But 3 casualties. Not bad.
Yeah, a lot of money spent in the process of doing that, right? Kane had a lot of cash invested too, but extra kills and all of that, it's corrected the record. It's made those investments a lot more understandable. It would have had just enough regardless, but now have all the the extra, or maybe an AWP, for example. Sonator, unfortunately, not going to be in this round for now. We got a tech pause, but Ruby really putting one win under pressure from the get-go. Thinking about that force buy, how that pistol round, honest and truthfully, could have been very different, not for Inters. And so this one win for the first time.
Inters is gonna be stunting on these tier 2 kids. Sorry to label you that, Ruby, but I feel like that is not offensive at all. And Inter's a guy that will do that to you. And don't get me wrong, man. Turn on the broadcast from yesterday. I believe Ruby, this team in, difficult magnitude definitely could be a face that seems to away one of our final playoff spots, you ask me, right? I mean, it's not at all, I think, a high expectation. I think that they're definitely shooting for a result like that, step by step, trying to collect, how it goes. The VRS win, yada, yada. Man, a point that I honestly forget when yapping about the VRS, Vincent, is not that these teams are getting VRS to go to the major. Yeah, man. Like, you got to get to the other tournaments first, right? You got to get off of the, tier 2.5 to 1.5 block, which is really hard to do. And I know a lot of players have commented it's because of maybe the fact that, you can attend tournaments, get wins, maybe hold a 500 spot, but kind of just skirt along and be okay.
Yeah, it's getting.
Are we getting too political? Are we getting too political, guys?
No, I don't think so. I think that it is pretty tough in the reality that we live in right now for you to kind of build like that. But I mean that is literally where one win is, and I think that's why you bring it up. Is that
yes, they would get 6 spots off of this win.
Yeah, and it's like they're a team right now that is trying to build that up, and kind of tough. I was actually going to say, I was going to mention that they were 3rd in advanced this season, but EU advanced also doesn't have VRS, right? Am I crazy?
I would assume it does not.
Let me go double check on that, because I know NA advanced does not, but
advance is a thing of the past. We want an elite cup. That's what they're playing in nowadays. I think the prize for the North American victory of advanced got you $8,000 of, traveling support to the BYOC land in Atlanta. I would assume that the winning,
same.
Yeah, I would assume that it's the travel support that you can get to go to Stockholm, DreamHack. You and the boys can qualify for Pro League the old-fashioned way.
Yes, that is.
Why don't we go
true.
do that, Vincent? We can try.
Travel to Stockholm?
Yes, actually. I was gonna, maybe, suggest the local American tournament first, but that would also work.
Yeah, I just double checked. It is that.
To meet some of our European friends.
It is both travel support is the prize pool, and also EU is unranked as well. I knew UNA was. I just wanted to double check. But yeah, a big deal for one win. Each of these types of opportunities, especially for a team that isn't necessarily winning, to get through the play-in stage even. They've been playing in some of these close qualifiers. Obviously, made their way through it this time, but back in Series 6 didn't do so. Just getting to play into a Swiss stage actually means a lot.
It does. And I will hold you for a second. I will point the finger. We were having some issues with Ruby yesterday. But I think momentarily, yeah. There we go. This should be the real deal. Into this freeze time. We'll hit resume on this train. Even though that was a pretty entertaining yap sesh. So rating the two people talking.
Yeah, if I was doing the rating, I'd rate it 10 out of 10 personally.
There you go.
No problem there. Ruby, let's see what their gun round has to offer. This MVP we've talked about a lot. First and foremost, gonna get the first chance to rattle off.
They're of the prop. They were taking a bit of a tempo, slower on their default to check back into Ivy. Same protocol this round. Hobbit himself is seen all at Brown Halls. One win, reached her hand pretty far.
All things considered, one win getting a lot of respect out of this round. Maneuver back over towards A. McQueen started this round at B, and obviously Ivy, a little bit of a gap right now.
Queen finds Inters off the block. But look at the swing. Doubling on it all the way from backhaul. They're running this thing up, and Queen just dumping the utility into Z. Actually doesn't force off the rotation for now. Cronus, what a good fight. So successful. One win can't be beat on any angle. This is brutal. And Chernik just watches along. It's a fourth round. Gets dropped into their hands. A bomb plant. Try and catch this nade.
The world is that from Laddick. I mean, ridiculous jump spot. Lucky he didn't go down. Chernik caught by Hobbit. From upper B, and one win. As much as McQueen nails the first shot, the transition is so hasty there for one win. They get very quickly into the A take, and McQueen doesn't get much of a chance to have further impact. There's a lot of good utility in the process. There's that trade. And then the rotations arrive, but arguably a little bit too late. Things had already gone far too wrong. Interesting buy right here. Falls goes for the hero rifle. Cade also has a lot of extra money invested into this round, and I know they have the loss bonus, but pretty expensive already.
I know we're literally only in round 5 staring back at this T-side, but I've already loved what I've seen so far, the tempo of it. I think that it's very controlling of how you have to work and sway in a way of such a large map. You actually have to, really sequence the next part of real estate piece by piece. And here as they square at B, that's exactly what you can kind of imagine in their heads as they get ready to strike through Brown Halls.
Yeah, but it's a 3-man stack over here for Ruby. They've got the rifle in this position as well. So if there's a chance to do some damage here, it's right now.
Ready to go. Right now, they do make contact with Cade. I mean, what a ridiculous angle. Can you kill Cade even in your dreams? Gotta go down. Ozik below. Cade is a monster. Cade here is going to put a stop to it all. Cade with the 4K. Those are his first frags here in this train. Cade has arrived.
I mean, that is ridiculous. It's Fozil who actually purchased that M4. Cade brings it back up once it goes down. It was Fozil aggressive into a main. And yeah, that's how that goes. But just honestly, a really confusing lack of execution. I'm not even gonna say the word utility because one win they didn't execute this, but then they kept on going once they met resistance. That's a confusing one for me. I don't know what one win we're thinking, but that wasn't good.
Way too close on a Hobbit there. Trunic almost gets him in one foul swoop. That's definitely what can come to bite you. They had a lurk there standing outside of T-Con, readying to throw that utility before that went. I want to see a little bit more motion here in round 6. Not like that. They kind of go through it and show the shoulder or lose a body because of it, and one win walk wounded.
It's another relatively careless loss, actually, for one win. Cronus is just like walking that out. He's hoping that he can just get a free fight. Nothing to set him up, nothing whatsoever. So there is certainly upside to that type of play. This time, they don't get any of it.
Flash for Cade to take a peek. Had to set that up for somebody. Enters nose. Way too much knowledge in that brain. That's why Cade's got to blow it off. You have this Opper fighting for his life, but what a great shot that is hit. Topic lurking unexpectedly, but McQueen spots him. Quick pivot. But how does this position develop? Right now, 1 second after another, and Trunic just attached at the hip right now. 2 peas in a pod. Are they ready for the second layer? Of course they are. Dropping the op and picking up the rifle, dropping bodies. One win, recover from 1 round win from Ruby.
I mean, it's a shaky start, but the recovery here, it's magical, and it's all from Laddie, top to bottom. It's actually one of the reasons that I think he's a very good player to have on your team. It's the dual threat. Did this a lot when I watched him on Aurora. They could run 5 rifles if they wanted to. Of course, the op primarily in his hands. He gets 2 to start that round, finalizes it with 2 AK frags. It's a 5v4 advantage for Ruby that falls out of their grasp quickly on the A bomb site, all thanks to Laddie.
It's a similar B approach that they had when they Cade completely destroyed one win. In that same spot, he directly is, but Trunic a little bit closer. Now, one win understand how exactly they faltered previously. Flashed in. Oh, and Trunic doesn't find anything. Calls it clear. So Hobbit now can gauge closer with a little bit more security. Utility's thrown, and Trunic not even an issue, not even challenged into the bomb site, but look at how much damage they're getting through this. Hasinator, Cade, all they do is hold mouse 1, and gone goes one win out of B. Both times they get sent here, they just get told to stop, don't listen. And well, you know what happens. 1v3 now for this op that, well, just showed us some spectacular scenes in a 1 versus 2. This is about to appear, but not today. Those will take care of business. But Ruby, that's where they succeed. One win, they go to this B bomb site, they're denied every time.
Yeah, I don't know if this Molly just missed. I really don't know what happened. This looked a lot better from the utility that they were throwing.
Good
I think
Lord, man.
The overall issue for one win is that they're just a little bit off timing, maybe. Like that's the only thing I can think of, or that the molly that's meant to be covering new box doesn't connect the way that they're intending it to, or that they're expecting it to. That's the only other thing that would make sense to me, because the fact that they're not worried about anything at new box tells me that they expect that to be mollied entirely and that nobody can be fighting them there. So, once again, last time it wasn't an execute, it was just a dry fight into one rifle that doesn't go correctly. This time, it's the execute that falters for 1Win. The same site, the same fashion almost. As Ruby, their second win is on the same bomb site, man.
It seems like there's a clear path back to this. Excuse me. 1Win will just have to go A, Vincent. Glad of getting some shots like that. And then Ruby's Opper can't even stay in the server. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know where McQueen is. He's having some troubles here again.
It's him who was having issues the other day?
Yes, that is correct. Likely getting his tire changed right quick. All puns courtesy of the lovely Pixar movie Cars.
Strap in, folks.
If that's flying over anybody's head.
Strap in. The fact that this actually breaks 1Win's economy, though, it's such a huge addition. You know, they were okay previously, but losing to an eco like that, follow that up with 1 victory, and then the next round, straight back to B and into the buzzsaw. Puts them in a very dire strait.
Is this thing on? Seems like it. 1Win. Cooled down from it. But decide to stay hot. They go on a buy again. They will keep a lot of funds for that op. Get that refreshed in time. Want to see what type of ace they're going to bring. And, well, I mean, kind of humorously, we're just going... Go back to the A site where you found that success. These pistols, well, they can work some magic on B.
That's the hope. You know, they've got the single weapon in Inter's hands, higher firepower there. I'm just looking at the utility, though, that's left for 1Win. Obviously, they trying to sell the story that they're on a full buy, or at least something close to it. With the way that they took upper, that's been a constant for them. Is getting upper control, making sure Brown Halls is taken care of. And I think in that fashion, their default has been very effective, but 1 smoke, 1 flash, 1 molly, that's it. That smoke's just been put out.
Ozil wasn't even peeking on that dime. Practically walks out with 2. Drops Cronus down to 13. Let's not add these up yet. 35 seconds is a problem. Cronus going deeper into CT. Potentially find Cade here on an off timing, but I don't think Cade's letting anything out of that A1S tonight. Of his crosshairs, rather. Queen pivots back, drops the bomb. Knows about it. Inter's going to be walking his way out A. And this Forest Well, it falls flat on its face, Vincent.
And Inter's, with that much time, he actually needed to go down. AWP recovered. I think for 1Win, a little bit of a weird one for me. Just a little bit disjointed. Seemed like the win condition there was Cronus making that move. Especially when Inter's wasn't a critical piece of that, and he's the only one with the rifle, so send it into an eco round. We've got Ruby looking like they should be able to build up a little bit further from this one. Investments for 1Win, understandably light, but early stages of these rounds have been all about 1Win getting the default started. And so on a round like this one where you don't have anything to actually make that happen, yeah, 1Win don't.
Mr. Observer, can we get the third person of this setup here? I didn't even know there was a box in the corner over there to be stood on by Hasanator. They're going to have to rotate out of it. So maybe we'll even see it again, because the pistol out here at Ivy will feel that Fazl nade. Not as bad as I so suppose. They're going to run him down, and well, Fazl would like to walk away with more than one frag this time. He gets a whole hat trick of them.
Easy peasy. Hobbit at that range. There's not much to be done. Not as if there was expectations of anything further to begin with for one win, but that goes about as you would have expected. Fortunately, next gun round, a whole lot different. They've got all of the utility, or at least the vast majority of it. Furnace the only one who's limited. He's tossed most of what he could afford over to others.
Hey, going really active. I wonder if he gets the second flash here. Cade, he just feels this. He's just shooting back out in Pop Dog. He's getting pressured, comms. Rather not. I mean, they were accurate. Hobbit gonna have to pick up on this. Glad to get aware of Fazl walking this way, and there is just no way in hell he sensed that. Not sure if there was an earlier cue, but one win. I mean, now they're literally coughing up these plays before they can even run them, Vincent. This one cut out at 1:10 we're sitting at.
Yeah, it's one win who tried to throw a curveball that is this more aggressive stance. I've been highlighting how constant their early default towards B-Halls has been and how effective it is at getting them that space. That usually means that Ruby's not seen anyone early in A main. Easy peasy, it seems. Aid front and center. Senator gets his one. Shut down. And Ozak has the bomb, I guess. Hold on. There's one gunfight. If he can win, we could be talking about a bomb plant at minimum. And McQueen is worried about two different angles.
Didn't go as far as they so imagined for the bomb plan. I think Truenick was going, all right, he's going to plan at default. I can deny this. Right after he will pry it out of his cold dead hands. A tie game that Ruby show us. This is more like their previous results, Vincent. Closer score lines.
Looking for every little advantage here, trying to find all the AKs. We get one on Truenick. Fossil just found one as well. So as McQueen gets the defuse, yeah, I mean, shut down top to bottom in that round. Ruby, a team that is capable of playing really aggressively, and they do. I think what's interesting is that it's one win who changed their pace, and Ruby who received it so effectively. One thing leading to another, and yeah, tied scoreline.
No way. They walk into his crosshair the way that they do. I got a feeling this B hit won't be defended the same way it was. Even missing their star player for it. Who's having trouble just against one $700 pistol and two premium rifles ain't enough. 1v5. He's going to have to get this kill so that he can survive. This is his hidey hole that Laddie is sitting in. I
mean, they're already putting him on notice. They are already closing the distance. The walls are getting closer and closer. The attempt to survive is not even so long-winded. I mean, that honestly goes wrong in every single direction for Ruby. I couldn't even point to a singular one that matters more than the other. But I think generally probably a little bit unwise considering the economy situation for Cronus to be where he was. So very far forward.
2 openers just like that. Cronus at a pop dog gets 2 in a pack. 1 win. They don't want their first half hijacked. So they're taking the wheel back themselves, winding their way to 7 rounds, or so we think. Trunic pushing back while he still can, but it's going to have to be at 11 HP. He stands the tallest. That's a tough task. They should know.
I don't think they know, but they're certainly scared of every chance that he could just be walking out. Lottie double checks that he's not in pop. Hobbit's ensuring that he can't come from the other side, and Trunic gets smoked off as well, making this even more difficult. But it's the last round. I mean, there's just no question about going, just about win. That is now into the death, and Inters converts it.
Really well done there. Ruby put themselves back in this half. 1 win. They still get to put an exclamation point on theirs. This is the close nuke that we were just drawing up in the pregame. But I gotta know what's going to be coming out of this T side from Cade, because I was talking about yesterday the troubles versus reason, particularly when we hopped onto that nuke. Really, it was ugly, Vincent, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. So we're going to see how exactly they shape up. Firepower wise, not going to be a question for Ruby, putting on this T side jersey, but we got to see, what they're going to be reading out of this playbook particularly.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to keep in mind, like, Ruby win a couple of rounds here that make this look like a very good, or a very competitive half. And I think that it could have been a lot worse. Ruby fortunate that they won where they did. I say that knowing that they also lost an eco round, or against an eco round. A 1 win, stealing that one away, and that's what gives them this lead. We were on pace probably for a tied game. And now it's 1 win. Move to the easier side, right? They are in prime position. Convert this out towards A initially. They've got the Ivy side of this attack as well. Ruby move.
Nader with a nice double. These Glocks hitting hard. They got these USPs right back into it. I thought Hobbit might have more left for you. Inters will have a long rotation, excuse me. And Ruby will grab themselves this pistol round. Inters will save the armor. Like a responsible young man.
Hasanator, pretty deadly. 1 win. A lot of times, the reason that this A attack is so difficult to beat on the pistol round is that, a lot of the early utility that define winning on the A site isn't available for the CTs in round 1. And so Hasanator can just sprint out. They have a sandwich smoke out. He finds a double kill. So then the guy on Ivy is like, what am I supposed to do? There's just nowhere to go. Inters doesn't survive it. Or rather does, excuse me. Yeah, that's Hobbit stuck in that spot I was just talking about where, the entire A side's fallen and he doesn't have a whole lot of options himself from that point on. Ruby, for their credit, they went for these 4 spies immediately. 1 win don't seem that interested themselves.
Cade drops Ozic right there. They're moving these Galils at their own pace, but don't worry about these pistols until Cronus pulls up. He's not going to be able to get this ace clutch. Not with Ruby breathing down his neck just like that, but, I mean, it feels like Cronus is about to pull up for a really big second half here, Vincent. Be warned.
I mean, he's actually been heating up, right? Had the critical kill in upper B that kicked off that win on the eco round. It was a double kill for him to get out A site to convert that to a 7-5 half. Yeah, big damage on an eco. Ruby know what's up now. The Speedy.
Papa just hiding in that corner. Oh, I think the Queen just died so fast, but he disconnected from the server amongst the pack. Hobbit gets that frag himself. Don't worry. There's an actual author there. Enters in a timely rotation. He just wants to check this angle and hold it back towards spawn. OneWin have a lot of map control right in here, and Ruby really cannot be aware of it until they contact in, realize how deep Cronus is, and that type of positioning. Going to start to be aware. Enters. This is such a brainy play. That type of angle they will never be expecting. But where is Hasinator's next move?
He's held the bomb the whole time, so OneWin have never gotten a look at it, so they really don't know where this could be. Cronus is worried about B. Hasinator exploring A. Did Ozzik just see him? The question, and it seems like it. Absolutely. Nails the shot. It's a really difficult mid-round for OneWin because Ruby have so much that they could be anywhere. Where do they go next? It's all about 1v1 duels. This one here for Cronus the first, and then you have Inters taking this duel. It's all about timing. And both of them nail it. Beautiful work in the 3-on-3. How was Ruby's B-pop?
Protoss going to get deeper here in the bomb site at a perfect time. Feels like OneWin are ahead of this, but can they hit the shots? For a moment they do. For a moment they do. Now Havoc arrives. How does... Well, there, I was about to say, how does the rifle square up to the rest of the pack? Because you just have that deagle right next to you, and it gets dropped immediately. OneWin there suffocate the rest of the incoming players, and that's a really good reaction by this defense. It was just a feeling from Cronus right there to move further in position next to Inters.
And that decision paying dividends. Hobbit, though, the cleanup crew as well. To be honest with you, if there's no support there, if Cronus isn't in position, then that probably snowballs very much in the other direction. Ruby, some creative ways to get onto the site properly. So they're forced by. It's pretty much nothing. I mean, nothing is not really true. The bomb plant is valuable. Will mean more pistols and armor this round, but they can't move off of it. They cannot continue to buy.
They're still in the back, and they'll give it another spam. It's the batch of pistols here, excuse me. Ruby will get this next gun round where 3 more will face OneWin in order to take this map. That's why I'm afraid and they even spread their wings before they're just shot off.
A lack of a game plan on these types of rounds, I think, in general across the both of these sides. Ruby just hoping that they're going to get something, and they've received almost nothing. I mean, he was reswinging so much, eventually probably going to go down. Hobbit recovers the op, though, and so it's really not as expensive as it would otherwise have been.
OneWin or another team like Amcal who are, definitely trying to play through that VRS ranking, get where they feel they should be competitive. I think a team like Ruby, a really good challenger here today. But again, right, I mean, that's probably where I would, draw them up myself, which isn't too far from, where they're actually ranked. But, like, sitting at 105, like I said in the pregame, it may have even, switched since I last updated my notes, Vincent. Everybody's been quite busy here in the CIS. They're going to net 6 spots, 29 points off of this win if they can take it versus Ruby today.
Tall task. Big upside. Ruby ready, though, for this B exec. And there's 2 players here once again. Cronus at the forefront, and this time he gets 0.
Also going a bit deeper. May just have to hop up to upset them. This contact made. All you can do is just push and pivot back. Enters. Great shot. McQueen. Double. Where did this come from? Enters. He's going to be hunted down here. McQueen. Bloodthirsty. But now cut off of his path. Enters here. Would have to just find out. And gets down K to 5 HP. Would be 1 off here. Of an ace clutch opportunity. Ruby deny. Try to pry themselves in. This is what I'm talking about. A really successful B hit that will put them back into the rhythm of this game. McQueen here showing some of the best that he has here of, where his, I think, toolbox gets all the respect for me that he has on top. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Laddick in series like this. McQueen is actually, really talented on the op, but never is there a conversation of him not being impactful on these rifles. Lucky you got Laddick right next to you. Otherwise, I feel like Inters would have been taken out there from the myth of the positioning.
Well, I mean, the whole game plan is trying to make sure that if Laddick actually gets blinded, that Inters could then swing off of that and trade. They were a little bit late to set that up, but strong in the execution was Laddick. Starting from the back foot now is Ruby. Because as much as that was a very strong victory from them, the bad news is that it also is only 1 round. 1 win, throw a change up of their own, prepped early towards B. It's going to be another B attack.
Fine Inters right off the bat. Walking up to it, and they've already thrown the main chef out of the kitchen. Got the Sioux right up next door, toting this off, and already came out with 1 piece of this pie. Hobbit has arrived with as sharp of a blade as everybody else. It's going to make this a non-issue. A non-negotiable retake here for Ruby being held off. Rather for 1 win to get it into their own hands. Got to find that bomb within the smoke. Now 1 win or 2 closer on their map pick.
I mean, it's actually been a really great anchoring overall for 1 win. I know that we were talking about, the way that Ruby attacked the B site previously, but Inter's actually got 3 kills last time. This time he gets nothing, but Laddick had already gotten the early pick, and he delivers as well, falling back, staying alive, and buying time for Hobbit to get back from the left-hand side of spawn. Perfectly placed, the damage done. Osinator starting that round at 25 health or something. Bonzo was also low. Very difficult. The exit for Ruby. For T-Con, impossible.
Lions Fossil on the way out. It's a 2K per buy here on each and every player. Ruby, they got to stash away their cash. Hope it grows in the mattress for their last round, Vincent. Not sure there's a lot of interest there. We're here on this A site to pay the dividends back. They're going to try and pop out of this smoke.
AK found. And 1 man spotted, but... Where's the rest of the team?
Oh my goodness.
What? Why so separate?
Keep going. Don't know what treasure you're going to find. 1 win dig so deep in this train. And what a cruel end here for Osinator. Could potentially take 1 more with him, but it is just not here to be taken today on this train. This is a great performance by 1 win, putting up a great tone at the beginning of this series, and with Ancient up right next door, going to be quite an ordeal to move back off of. It seems like they're putting their foot down pretty hard here at the end. But we got to see if this 13th, which is notoriously the most difficult to get, will be easy to come from.
I mean, the good stuff here from One Win, though, is that, you know, their early protocols have been so strong. Ruby have found almost nothing, and it's a whole lot of different setups at the beginning of rounds. Elatic, who actually was here previously, but they didn't spot him. I don't think they actually got into pot, so coming back, it should still be a surprise as Ruby. Seems like the first time in a while that they are not working a game plan from second number one. They're looking for map control, spreading in their default. Finally, a look at this. It's been a minute.
Late round game-ending positionings here. They're taking out Vincent. Osinator, I feel like he's favored for this fight, is the big batch of real estate to lose. They know that Laddick has got to be here. Quick scope on to Osinator. If this man is able to present a double kill, then, well, the odds could change. Tripled up right there. Hobbit has his back, but this op picked up, and McQueen treats it like the key that it is to the win in this round. Inter's gonna be all left to work here as Fozil finds Hobbit. 14 HP, seconds, excuse me. And Inter's repositions to give this one, I think, a fair go.
Really loudly, too. Trunic's already on the move, as is Fozil. They move together. Fozil's gonna overstep, though. Here in the attempted check.
No.
Inter's reading him like a book. A 1v1 now, but there's no kit.
Halfway ticked. Trunik so far into hell. This is a done round. I think Inter's maybe propping that idea in his head. The loud alarm now. Ruby get a 9th. Ruby get themselves a good 9th. And shake up the pot at least one more time here in this train. That one looked like it was maybe a little bit awe-inspired. I didn't think that with the way this first minute was working, it's not giving me the same sort of vibe of success that, you know, One Win we're just naturally grabbing a lot of this real estate back from. But we're going to see how long they can take this. Talked about that 13th being the hardest to get. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's never more true.
I feel like Inter has really had a chance at that one. Gave it up earlier than I would have liked to see. Regardless, ensures that One Win can continue buying around 22. Ruby, pretty significant lack of an op, but otherwise they're doing pretty good. That is probably something to talk about as we get deeper / towards the end of this map is, you know, on a map like Train, it's so op-centric. Seen a real struggle for McQueen to have that gun and be good with it. In the Lottie show more than consistently.
They're getting teased and pop dog. Shots rattling off. Fozil's caught here, and Hobbit is holding the positioning. Ozzy gets this shot. It may be done if Hobbit can connect this, but it's slowly adding up. They just have the numbers here on A side. It's that simple. It just comes down to the brute force on Train when you get back down. Bomb in the yard, Vincent, and how are you going to be able to recover like this? Cade is going around the world right now. It's going to be quite a far walk.
In a whole minute to play with. There's that in for Ruby at the very minimum. That being said, yeah, with 1 HP, Trunik has to almost entirely rely on Cade to take the initiative. He's just going to be the cleanup crew getting back through main late. That's, I think, the plan right now. The longer this takes and it's taking a long time. The more 1-win are going to be aware of the possibility to move all the way through. Finally checked, and what a lightning fast shot from Laddick. 1 HP in a dream.
Runic 1v3 on 1 health. Couldn't be farther from the facts. Swiping it, and we will be that much closer to an Ancient here. 1 win, do really well. Putting the respect on their train map pick here. Really good on the T side. I mean, just punishing when we got into the defense, Vincent. That there was a great performance, and we put a lot of respect to Cronus and all the work that 1 win have been putting into this.
Yeah, listen, I mean, that's a T side that honestly had more speed bumps than it probably should have. I think we were really impressed with what they got, and then not even talking about the fact that, you know, they had some of those issues, lost to that one rifle, the ugliness of that B hit on the rifle round itself. You know, they were able to steal rounds back on their own. They got an eco win of their own. In addition to that, you know, they still had 7 rounds at the end of the half. I think that T side was really impressive. And I think what's most impressive about it is that it really wasn't anything special. It mostly was reliant on just seeing what they were given, taking whatever that was, and then transitioning that into strong ins, mostly towards A. The B side had a lot more problems.
Yeah, that you know, for sure. I mean, some of those, you know, if not for like a Cade 4K or, you know, a star performer, you know, on, you know, either of those units putting up a good one like Inters, I mean, without that anchor, baby, without that anchor, never kick that anchor, man. You know how much value they're bringing, because I mean, it's a complicated one to bring back. And, you know, where I was pointing out a lot of the teamwork between Inters and Cronus is, I think, speaking a lot to, you know, how I imagine, you know, the team speak ought to sound. You know, it seems like one of the things that are, you know, is probably underrated conversation around a map like Train, and, you know, how experienced teams play on it is, you know, the ones with better comms are going to win. I know that's Counter-Strike for you, but I mean, right here, you can tell that there is active decisions being made, never constantly slowing down. They're always keeping the temperature of the round right in front of their eyes. So in front of their eyes, Vincent, is an advantage, a 1-0 lead. They got into a series, but it's never going to be free when you're walking up into a Ruby Ancient. This is a really tough one for you, and I've seen some great Ruby Ancients, I wouldn't say over the years. Over the last couple of months, they've had some great results out here as they've refreshed it, and we've gotten back to go for it. But that go will be in about 10 minutes time. We got to get a break before we get there, Vincent. So like I mentioned, that Ancient, the opportunity for Ruby to hold at their 1-1 stake will be right here in about 10 minutes time. So we will be right back here in the CCT.
Alrighty, let's get this party back underway. We got Ruby, who, listen, it was competitive on train, and we expected them to struggle there. They'll go over to Ancient. It's onto the B side already.
Cade gets a double kill just like that. Laddie round this corner, and he's trying to bend and break. Does have one head on the skewer, but look at the way the Ruby have arrived to the second map. Going their brute force into this B site. Seems like that's the recipe to succeed. Hobbit, Ozik around this might be as intimidating as they are paired up like this, but that'll probably be the last we see of Hobbit in this round as he goes back to the old Shire. Had to put it in there once.
Oh, man.
Is that not the GOAT of all media, though? I'm not stop yapping. He's the GOAT of the USBs. That was really nice. That was really nice.
No, it's not actually. I know that's like maybe a hot take, but
nerd. I would then accept you if you went, no, Mark, it's actually Dune. That's really cool. And I would be like, yo, this guy knows his stuff.
No, it's up there though, for sure. Yeah, you probably just made so many people angry though by that take, because that's a real hot take.
What, the Lord of the Rings is the GOAT of media?
No,
I would say that
better.
would. I don't think that. I would say that that's an acceptable rebuttal.
I don't think we were. I don't
Maybe
think we're
the main three books. Nobody's rocking with the one about the guy that fully turns into the sandworm, and then the son took the books and wrote like 8 more that are equally as weird. You know.
We're gonna leave it right there. We're just gonna let that sit.
It gets freaky. It really does.
Mark, you're not understanding the assignment.
We'll keep it at the Shire then.
Yeah, Ruby against a little bit of a force buy here. I see a little bit. Laddick has saved money for the op, but otherwise it is a force buy. Pretty patient one from the Ruby perspective as well. Encroaching upon Donut. In the meantime, though, B-exec utility. Well, it's a little bit concerning, actually. But this is a pivot. It's going to be easy when Cade gets that kill.
Running in. Look at these shots. Brunick picks up 1 kill. Now that is a sight. Only man that didn't go all the way through, we know, is Laddick. The Ruby gets to wipe their feet atop of this force, and there ain't a better way to start. A better feeling.
Yeah, I think that this was a round that probably could have been concerning if it weren't for, Cade getting that 1 critical kill. I know that Trunick had some trouble there, but trying to collect whatever's on the ground. Not going to get the chance. Sorry.
Terrorists win.
Fossil actually TKs. Oh no. Enters. He doesn't get credit for it, but he pulls another gun out of their hands in the final seconds of that round. 1 win. For the amount of damage that they did, you're probably feeling like, hey, that's pretty decent, except it was a horse buy. So I don't really think that 1 win are particularly happy with how that one went down. Or the nothing, but not exactly a resounding success either. Mid-stack?
That is an accurate description of sounds for how this feels. Enters in this corner. You stop that there. 2 deal kills too many. Give you a third, I'll have to slap you on the cuffs myself. He's all good, Vinny. Seems like the Ruby. Excuse me, the Ruby. Ruby, the sheriff of this town.
Not to be confused with the who 1 win beat in the close qualifier to get here.
Yes, I saw that on the stat sheet on HLTV. I'd go a step further than that. I'm going,
who?
What is this team? Who?
Yeah, no disrespect.
Is this an acronym?
I also was wondering, and I don't have an answer. If you had an answer to,
Kind of a
what it
badass name. The team wins the round. Yes, sir.
That's actually true. I didn't think about it in that context. Taking mid control. Ozzik, though, delivers, and it's Inters right behind him. A trio of frags. Everybody gets their piece. Is Hobbit, who came in and delivered as well. That was from House behind the smoke.
Win shows up. But that was a bout of chaotic as that last scramble went down. There's just bigger guns. A couple of AKs to rattle you instead. A couple of leaves fall off. 3 to be exact off the Ruby tree. 2v4, Vinny, and they're tiptoeing out of this corner of the cave. But once they're going to trip up at the line, Cronus finds Fozil. Good luck, McLean.
I really love how one win, like, fall back there, too. They give them so much space at B. It's just a really intelligent way to play. If I know it's a 5v2, and, like, giving space sometimes can be a bad thing in that type of advantage, but the way in which they did it, where they're covering all their bases, being careful but not too careful, I do appreciate it. One win. After they essentially win the round in mid at the beginning of that one, they make it clear that they're not going to make any mistakes. They're not going to let their foot up off the gas. Get handle on that round easily. Included in this buy is a Tech 9 and a Deagle with a couple of extra rifles as well. I can't believe Cronus hasn't spammed.
Attic finds a man, hopping up into his crosshair. Ruby right now are feeling a bit desperate. In their default, they're shaking out every little bit of possibility they got left, which is bringing the bomb back here towards B. Let K do his thing. We'll see how far he gets. Ruby just crossed their fingers.
In last round, one win, they had everything thrown in mid. It was absolutely everything possible that they could have been putting into that area of the map. In this round, Ruby set up to receive that same type of forward positioning and that type of fight. And one win just say, yeah, no, I'm good. Why this looks a little bit silly.
I'm okay.
Ruby lose at both extremity sides on B, both cave and ramp, and now they just have to go out A. Open prey. We cancel on that go out A part.
Counter-terrorists win. Washed out just like that. Waiting this time. He got Cronus out at the end, but good looks. One win are surviving in a unique round of Ancient that is provided in the first 5. That Ruby succeed. This should be all good for them here in a round or 2. Right here, I feel like they've sort of fumbled the fluff at the beginning of this game, Vinny. If I'm wrong, please tell me.
I mean, I think it's more about one win than I think Ruby messing up. But yeah, certainly from the type of rounds that we were seeing at the beginning, right at this half. I mean, remember, we jump into this game and the pistol round started and Ruby are already on B. That's how this game began. But one win, it's very reminiscent of the way that they were approaching their T side on Train. Really slow in default. I'm feeling those same types of vibes, and I really love that one win are so considered right now. It's the same ideas as what I was talking about and the way they handled themselves in that 5-on-2.
Not a very nice shot. Laddick. Unbelievable stuff. Man, that is exactly what I came here to watch today, Vincent. Is another young CIS opper hitting some shots he shouldn't. That's wonderful work out of one win's best right there. Chef's kiss, absolutely. 7-3 start for Laddick.
Yeah, and that I think really ramps up the pressure onto McQueen because he's the guy that we've been kind of talking about as capable as somebody that needs to be a big part of the winning conditions here for Ruby. Really was missing back on train, and I know it's the T side right now, so we're not going to talk about like the opping and everything. But in general, I can't be another map where one would have the only explosive opper in the server.
Here's Hobbit, hand them out, one after another. It's just these pistols out here, and this is what I was gonna say. It would take a while to get them right. Having too much fun around this smoke. One would have lost track of the process. The only thing they're looking for is this bomb. They're gonna sprint through this thing. A little bit more respect than maybe in my mind. Hasanator, excuse me, has that spam into the CT smoke, Vincent. Bose will be the only man left in the back lines to stop him. Deepest man.
Yeah, kind of ugly there for a second, but long term, this shouldn't be too big of an issue unless Fozl nails it like that. Whew. All right, not too big of a deal. One win. Handled themselves well. The close of that round a little bit more expensive than they would have been hoping for. Nonetheless, a victory. That means we've not just closed the distance, but one win, take the lead. We'd be stealing 3 rounds off the back of a pistol, but since then, one win, haven't faltered. This could be the... I've been talking up one win and how it died. Let's see a little bit more.
Bro, the most pressure goes to Ruby to work in this Ancient. First half, you know you're going to have to make the most of. And a cerebral bunch you see pass to. Just got that house smoke up. Like, will be aware that it's missed. And now they can see through your blueprints and actually to the plans.
Again, Cronus going to be in a pretty imperative position right here. Got a smoke, could drop that deep into Jag or potentially on himself if the Motley comes through that McQueen is lining up.
Cronus domed. McQueen stands on it. Now we have, I think, a turn of the tide. Fozl, if he would have gone down to that spam, we got a retake on his life here. Will this retake, it could be well and started, but Hobbit and Odzik, they just snap at the same time, and barely any bullets left in that M4. One bullet could do the trick, however, and that's what he has to keep in mind in a kit that's on his back, and he is going to try and draw the bait. Drunik, he's not even going to give him the look, hops back on the bomb, and he knows it's the real deal now, on the belly of Odzik, and he gets it down. Ruby takes a 1v1 to get the job done, Vincent, but at least it's a start.
I mean, it is, but they got really darn close to this. Great move from Cronus right there. Sad that he goes down in that fashion. Trunik, though, I can't believe that he just doesn't swing. That is a lovely bluff called by Trunik, and that's what gives him the round. I mean, straight up just says you would not stick on for the first try, even with the smoke on the bomb. I think that you have to be so impressed by that call.
It spams through. Hobbit on the other side has dealt with Drunik himself. They just got to keep pace. Just like that. Cronus next on the catalog, and he's ripped out straight off the page. Through here, and the real estate to be is looking to be the quickest call to make. Enters here, puts out his last smoke.
He does, but it's positioning, gonna give it away. Ruby now know where the final defender's located. They don't know that it's the last, but they will soon. My goodness, Inters, it's through the smoke. How about 2? Inters has just dominated this round, and from this position, sails through smoke to put this into a 1v3 attempt by McQueen.
Hasn't moved to muscle. So far off of the Bane. Hobbit wants to tote up this peak with the Molotov. They're just toying with them. They know exactly where he's located. Fire a foot. Even the flame. One get their lead back. Showing their big brains on their CT side.
And the C side needs to be good for Ruby. They struggle a little bit for the CTs. They somewhere close to even, probably okay. Yeah, that's ridiculous. You can see that from Sonator's perspective, but Inter's, I mean, that's the type of like hero impact play that you can see from, you know, a guy who's an anchor. That is incredible.
I know it's a 5-4 scoreline and only a difference of 1, but man, does this feel like one win of nothing to worry about on this CT side. It feels like they've got things just set. They can predict the next move out of Cade's mind, maybe even before he can. Fozol, well, there's proof to the pudding. Paints one onto the wall. But Trunic, gotta get this bomb down. I'm gonna stop calling him out. There's another entry into these, and they go deeper with the pistols. It shouldn't be like this. Laddick had the opening kill. We thought that this was a round for this team to succeed. Only a time to see them bleed, Vincent. Ruby, they get one win to cough up an impressive loss.
Yeah, and listen, I think that this is another example. I've actually been noticing it quite often, but there hasn't been a great time to mention it. I think Cronus's micro decisions are pretty bad, a lot. And it's becoming a bigger and bigger issue as I get to watch more here from him. I mean, there's no reason that he should be, like, sprinting to take that fight. He's making steps there deep into cave, and obviously Ruby are going to know there could be somebody there, but he gives it away by him just taking steps unnecessarily. Interesting reclear in mid about to happen, or at the very minimum, one win looking to clear out house. They set Laddick deeper into cave. This is terrifying.
How does he keep getting away with it? I just do not know, man. That smoke to just get him that extra bit of security. Interest doesn't see so far in the middle that he's going to catch this bomb moving up the shelf. Hasanator will have the element of surprise, meaning back up with Ruby. It's not going to be anything too crazy. They're just going to try and walk this up, contact with their numbers, and make the most of them into this B site, where they're going to show up better. But look at this. I mean, how long do they take? And after that hint, Cronus will be able to spray them all in the back. I don't know who the hell told Cade that he was coming. Yeah, he spun around and found it. Hobbit's still in that corner, and these entries are just served to them on a silver platter, Vincent.
I mean, it's just that mid gap. I mean, straight up, they don't realize what's gone down. Inter is still coming on this flank, but now he steps back from one win, who moments before that had 3 on B. In order to maybe set that up for success, lived Hobbit only alive, and he gets removed without a dime. One win. That's a head scratcher. They did everything right. And unfortunately, at the last 30 seconds of this round, Ruby found a way to call themselves out of it. I really don't even know who to credit. Because realistically, it feels like there was just some miscommunication, some little gap, I don't know, something that made one win move off of B entirely. And yeah, I mean, Cade, just crazy awareness.
Bit baffling. Thought we would have a 6 here for 1 win. Couldn't be further from the truth. A 6-6 here Ruby might have planned after all. Maybe one better.
7-5 would be a dream. That's kind of the numbers that I think Ruby need to be targeting, what they usually can put together on a T side.
Really like these shots out of Fosult. Great angle held by McQueen. That's a gimme op frag. Enters empties his belt. And it will hold all of the approaching players for a moment. Halts them on this approach. Knife to a gunfight practically. With that shotgun showing up to that distance. Ruby, they do get that dream. It's a 7-5 that they will not have to dream. It's right there in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, they get a lot of value out of winning the pistol and the follow-ups, right? 3 rounds to start this half. But 1 win, they looked untouchable. And the point at which you mentioned it, where, 1 win, you were saying in control, and I would agree. They were basically handling everything. A couple of problems arise at the last couple of rounds of this half, and Ruby steal away 2 on 4. Ridiculous advantage that 1 win should never have lost. Finalize it with 7. That's the type of performance, I think, out of Ruby that probably leads us into a 3rd map in this series. I'm calling right here and now. I think that's likely. See what 1 win have got on their T side, but this can be where Onzik is going to step up for 1 win. Been a little bit quiet here for Ancient.
Caden Coach showed up really strong to the end of that first half here, but I remember the first half of Train as well. And how great it was from a calling perspective out of Cronus's camp. Play off of the expectations here, but I think it matters when I've talked to them so much about, where we've come to concern Cade and how they just recovered that first half. So respect given, but the flowers were already presented to one of these callers in this series already. Ruby are not out of the woods yet.
It was meant to just be a simple hit. It's late, come back through mid, be a split for 1 win. But there's still 3 here for Ruby.
Gonna go right back and forth upon Matt. We're gonna go a bit deeper. Here go the spams. Just launching back for it. I mean, these Glocks hit like so many swarms. Cade vaulting through, and he's going to hit a great shot. Cronus, backside, and Laddick right next door. They have got themselves a pistol. 1 win, hold on. They're not just going to let Ruby stand up and show out in this series. Cronus, he's got himself the bag. Let's see how he holds it.
Yeah, I mean, grabbing a pistol round is huge, but and that's additionally impressive considering that I think that the actual execute itself was a little bit weird. I think that somebody missed the timing in a main. They weren't swinging at the right timing, in my opinion. Allowed for Ruby to isolate more of those duels towards Donut than they probably should have. And yet still, Cronus bails him out. We've had Laddick as well. Multi-kill out of him for the pistol round. 1 win. Gonna be up against the Force Spy, though, once again. This is exactly the same that Ruby did on Train.
Just Cade there keeping his ears open over towards A, but I think we all know it's what's good right here, Vinny? What's believable? This is where the majority of this eco disaster would likely take place. They serve it up like that. Well, it can only go one way. No way. I'm telling it like it's a fairy tale, but what am I seeing in front of my eyes? It's the real deal. McQueen and Hassinator. Good Lord, what is coming out of those SMGs? One win or just shooting blanks?
I mean, the SMGs on the 1-win side really were just some pretty rough whiffs from the MAC-10s. Decision to continue fighting into that smoke. I don't really think that's a good one. 1-win, there won't be a recovery. Ruby steal that round away, and it's via a Hassanator 3K on a MP9. And I think the worst part of it is that you missed the trade. Fair enough, but it's some of the youngsters here on 1-win maybe making the mistake of thinking, well, hey, we lost that. We need to go chase after that trade. No, it's okay to leave it. Unfortunately, learned that the hard way.
Like the first proper A hit that we've seen in this entire game. Ruby here sides up well to it. They get a bomb plant. And it seems like we forgot about the planter. Cade swings back and he will take care of things. Only one casualty was McQueen. Hit the turf right there. 7 rounds. Excuse me. 9 for Ruby.
Kind of funny. I feel like Cade overlooks that because default plant just doesn't happen anymore. Like, it's just, you never see anyone plant default unless it's a full A exec. You know, and even then it's like the front side of the default box rather than backside where it was being planted right there. Kind of interesting how things have changed over time. Ruby forced by, or rather, excuse me, 1-win's forced by goes about nowhere. The building loss bonus, 1-win by a little bit more, and in fact, get Ozika a hero rifle. It's given them an opening pick via spam, though. And speaking of spam, a lot of damage done to the 1-win camp as well.
Views on this jump spot is coming to an end. I think we know what's about to be proceeding here in the next 10. But the ball drop here is going to be at A. That's something that Turnic is going to have to tighten up and get back to. Because right now, Cade is in no position to likely stand and hold this. Did not account for this incendiary. Might be the real MVP of our round. As Cade now gets the reposition as they are expecting the say hit. Got to understand that they're going to be, as soon as that Molotov fades into the site, Inters gets this bomb planted.
It's not the bomb plant that's of worry. It's how deep into it 1-win get into the post. They have so much space. But the gun being first and foremost, Ozic only the singular, and Trunic with a continuation of that spray. Smoke not going under the bomb. Inter's the only one in defense of it. Hold on. He gets 1 kill out of there. This should be over, but the MP9 got closer than it had business being. Ruby survive it. But a bomb plant, 3 kills. I'm liking what 1-win was able to do.
Now your first rifle round, I mean, really properly. Talked about that repeated force that they went for in map number 1, showing off its head again. Real deal includes Laddie Op, and where we can shuffle out to challenge Ruby. Hobbit, a 1-man army out towards B, holding on to that MP9 carried over via Inters.
Yeah, Interesting to hang on to it. Oh, Fossil catches one. Continuation, though, of that same fight down ramp. Ultimately, a 1-for-1 in that area. Bomb still placed there, despite Ozik's very forward positioning in-house. There's currently a lot of pressure on Fossil to maintain this. I mean, in fact, because of that, they're entirely changing the game plan, Ruby, right now. These A players walk it back over to mid. They cover that. Now McQueen can face forward, and the B site a little bit more defended.
Runic with a great post right here. Keep in mind that's your A rotator, and he's going to be on the way. He knows what a symptom of a house push could mean at sub 40 seconds, and he reads it to perfection. But they should be aware of potentially somebody creeping by. That's why Laddick holds on to it. See if there's a reaction off that bomb plant. But Trunic, I mean, he just stands here. What a bold choice to not swing off the bomb plant. But he knows your tricks. Ain't going to be fooled too quickly. Make it cleaned out here. I mean, Cronus needs more than one frag. Just a terrible angle to fight from here off this corner. Cade gone. Could have spammed out. Runic there in the low HP. Going flying out of that corner. And McQueen, he got just softened up. But it's Ruby that survived for 11. It's one win that has to use all 120 seconds of that round. But it's still not enough, even off of the bomb plant and the extension. Seems like Mirage is inevitable.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Trunic, great decision-making top to bottom. And winning the fight here in house, this one. But the reason he's not swinging is he's got a molly, right? His teammates throwing an incendiary there. So if it's planted, there's sort of those three main plant locations. You got default, you've got the opposite corner of the same area. And then in addition to that, you can plant on that close wall in order to avoid the spam as sort of like a tertiary spot. Well, he forces him out, knocks him down.
And it may just be that easy, that easy. That's what I'm talking about. Cade through a smoke, through a wall, spamming.
Just the fact that Inter is going to get one back doesn't change the hard reality of this. For one win, he and Laddick unlocking the best weapon. Or Laddick as well. Have to best McQueen, who certainly had, you know, maybe not the like level of step up that we were talking about maybe needing, but he certainly delivered at every point he's needed in the second half. There's not one of them, though. Inters nails it. Started as a 2-on-5.
Laddick almost could have hit on that spam there, but I don't think you're going to be beating Cade at his own game. Ruby here walked their way for 12 on Ancient. And this is a breath of fresh air watching this Ruby team take a dominant victory here in the middle of a series. And you're going to ride to a Mirage with just more than I think a little bit of the momentum in your pocket. You're really going to be confident of where you go and square up one win here, because this is a pretty consuming result for this T side.
No doubt, man. Super deep nade as well, trying to catch them on the re-entry back towards elbow. We don't get anything off that. That nade, though, deep on B ramp is so much more effective. Bomb placed outside of that. Pretty separated one win as they try and test both extremities of this map at the same time, hoping that they're going to find some success. Leave mid entirely unattended for the time being.
Make it an actual execute here. Kind of excited for this. Unless this A engagement throws everything out of plan, which it might, it's momentary. One win aren't just going to immediately grasp for it. They have the rest of this 50 seconds to work. All this time, you know the drill, but it may be a story you're getting too used to hearing. One win square up for a late go about it. Hobbit does find McQueen. This is off to a great start. 35 seconds. And I really am just kind of staring at this minimap the entire round, wondering, why they are keeping this A-lurk here. Now they lose the kill, and they're still turning around and using the positioning. This is a really confusing call here to watch, because now, look, Cronus gets this, and they're going to sprint all the way back over. This is going to be just a embarrassing loss to be slapped back in the face of one win here at the end. They overtook here in the last round of their T side.
Hold on.
And that should tell them a lot.
Oh, they didn't have enough time. I don't think they got it off.
No, siree. Just like that, Vincent. 13-6. And that should not be the way you lose out of a round. But as that Ancient got, worse as things went on, Vincent, I think that's actually a poetic way that one win see themselves out of a map like that. Ruby are really dangerous here. 13-6, Vincent. That is a big scoreline to put up.
Yeah, it kind of starts with that, what was it, 2v5 or 3v4, whatever it was, where Cade turned around on that crazy timing in the first half. I feel like that's where things started to first begin to unravel, and it continued on from that point on. Because listen, you're absolutely right. They overcooked top to bottom on that round, but there was still a way out. The smoke it long and everything, they just didn't get on the bombs. They had the time to get there, and they just didn't make the decisions to do that. That's what's so confusing, and I mean I tend to agree. It's so silly and a little bit poetic at the end. But I mean I said it in halftime that this looked like Ruby were gonna make it a third map, but they were going to push it all the way, and they do so. It looked really close at times, especially at the end of that first half. Then you talk about a pistol win. Well, from that point on, literally nothing. Ruby don't let up, not once.
We'll see if that gas is going to be just pedaled oh so quickly through a little bit of a break before this Mirage, but I know that they are going to be jumping at the gun of the excitement of that, best one to close out this 1-1 Swiss stage here, Vincent, and the end of our day here at CCT will be after that Mirage. So the end of the action is here, but the last bit you get to catch, the fourth quarter of the Counter-Strike you could consider, is going to be back after about a 10-minute break, so don't go far. CCT back in a minute.
eventually everything must fade.
Well. Because we had our third match of the day canceled, it's the rule at CCT that the last match that we do have to have on stream has to be 3 maps, Vincent.
Oh, who's writing these rules? Is that you?
Me. I am the overlord of CCT.
Yeah,
You got problems? Come
No,
to Vincent.
no,
Come to
I
Vincent. Tell him. Tell him. Don't tell me. It's this Mirage between, One Win and Ruby. As it looks like Ruby are trying to attempt the reverse sweep, a very clean result that they just put up on that Ancient, a 13-6, and already altercation at B, but it won't be finished here. They're going to turn this ship around here for now.
I mean, they've turned it around. They've done a 180. Unfortunately, it's a 180 right into Ruby's hands again. Because Trunic, I mean, Laddie tried his very best to double, triple, quadruple check. It does not matter.
Not proceed to succeed from that fight. Just the 2 veteran men set up arrest the funky bunch of Ruby right back. But this kill, a path back open to A. And Hobbit is going to take even deeper. I mean, Trunic here is just a lost variable. They're going to have to find him back in this equation later on.
He's going up into Palace, so it's certainly a little bit scary. He could activate at any time. They looked a bunch of the numbers. Checked on is Trunic. So he's no longer lost. He's been found. Inters gets under balcony. Now McQueen comes back in. Got to deal with another. It's Hobbit, who's elsewhere. He's like fully investigated mid.
Doubts her underpass as well. They're not going to be checking that deep. They found him over at Apex, but Inters, I mean, he holds his food just for a moment. He's keeping it around everything in front of him on the plate, and they are going to dine well in this pistol round. Inters there, gets a triple kill all himself. Had that quad kill to start out that pistol round on Train, if you do remember from so long ago. He's back in action.
I mean, this is a 2v4 loss. Ruby had such an advantage. That one's going to be painful. It's Cade who honestly takes the first step that is probably unnecessary. Like, Laddie has the exit. He's looking for it. And Trunic delivers onto that frag. So, at that point on, I don't think Cade had any reason to be aggressive, but he does anyway. Ruby going to lose her in-game leader at the beginning of the second round. It's forced by not off to a great start.
Be a finish right here for One Win. The rest of Ruby, I mean, if they're just going to be so far away from this, then seems like we'll have a maybe peaceful finish to the end of this round, Vincent. Everybody will stay on their side of the avenue. Nobody will cross the other block.
At this point, I fear that's a guarantee. A reason for Ruby to try and punch through a post plan on A when they don't have the better weaponry, when, you know, save is such a strong decision to begin with. So exactly what it will be. And I mean, it gives us time to go back to what I was talking about there, where, you know, Ruby, a lot of momentum that they built off of that Ancient. And I felt like that was set to continue, but a really painful 4-on-2 loss that they had every opportunity to not make a reality. We gotta stew in that fact for a little bit longer. Only 3 of the 4 players that were at B survive it. Won't really be able to afford too much, though. Senator does get another deagle out. Just kidding. He swapped it over to a 5-7.
Mm-hmm. Good measure. Loser of this game will join Senza, Sinners, and Eternal Fire at the 1-2 spill. Mixin Sparta already eliminated from competition. Maybe expected that out of Sparta. Not to be a hater to those gamers, but I mean, definitely for the namesake, what we expect from these dudes over on Mix, man, they should be playing a lot better. An 0-3. Knock, Juan Flatro, Synopsy going 0-3 in CCT in 2025. Boys, ain't good.
Yeah, it's like a whole situation over there for Mix going bad to worse. You know, maybe finalizing an offer, right? In Knock. At least that's the hope for me. Nonetheless, whether surprising or not, you know, this map, I think, probably means more to one win if they were to take a victory. You know, I'd consider this a pretty massive upset. Not impossible or anything, but okay. How many bullets can McQueen take before going down? A lot.
Not a contest I would prefer to enter. McQueen is a different breed, as they say. Cronus swings in, puts the beginning of the game quickly out of the mind, out of the worry here. One would appear to be quite strong at the beginning of this Mirage, and, well, no guaranteed momentum out of that Ancient. That's what I was serving up for Ruby.
This is where I'm really hoping to see kind of the McQueen op go crazy. That's like my hope. I feel like we really haven't seen the level that I anticipated from him coming into this series at all. You know, there's been some moments of good impact, of key frags, but none of them have been, you know, really impressive op showings. Oopsie on that mid smoke, or the window smoke. Furnace selects not to resmoke it, instead gonna let it be open.
McQueen will be here for the reaction to this B play. One win are contacting into these consistently, and that's why they're trying to take control of the reins of the tempo straight up here, because they haven't got the response back. But guess what? Yeah, you're never going to get that oh so easily. Laddick is... I mean, where do you respond, Ruby? They just get blown back out of B, and both of these players will just stay and tuck a toe back towards A, Vincent. That's the way the first gun round goes. Just like all of the other ecos, the pistol, without issue.
It's really interesting. Ruby, just a lack of activity anywhere on the map over the course of this round. They lose mid control. They never really look to reclaim it. They don't even like flash peek. They don't look to do anything after that, and they keep losing space. No information gathering, and that's why that's so devastating. You know, Ruby were set up so that there's a possibility they just win those two duels, especially on the B site, and then the rotator gets in, and Laddie doesn't, you know, rip his head off with the op. But because the two first duels go well, Laddie's able to post, and one win, I mean, they just take it and they run with it. There is nothing that Ruby could have done when that attack comes through other than win the aim duels. They had made the mistakes earlier in the round by letting one win do anything they wanted uncontested.
Seems like we've already got a problem here in this third map. We call a timeout to take it.
This is a map where One Win certainly have had a lot of success. I'd say that this is some of the scenes of their biggest wins, right? But Ruby, a lot of victories here too, right? I mean, this is one of the maps they had that 13-6 over BT game. We talked about that at the beginning of this series. He buys an extra rifle to the two that were saved, and otherwise an ego surrounding those two. Level of activity at the beginning of this round that Ruby wanted to make up for from the last. It's just what I talked about, some of those issues. Now they move instantly. Early upper B. Hasanator boosted up on cap bricks as well. Are trying to pull out all of the little gimmicks that they can to find little victories.
Because now they found the gap. There's Hasanator out of it. Cade, there's the response from Catwalk, but, I mean, a weak B site that they have. That being the truth here. This is the same tempo that One Win have been ticking on the entire time. And Ruby just have to check back into it, but further through this log. They have the attention turned towards A with Trunic. They need to be able to separate some of the fights here. But right now, you're going to be calling Trunic over, and by the time he gets there, I mean, Cade is going to be just off of his angle, not wanting to fight. Picking up another rifle upon Catwalk. They have just reinforced this entire idea of a retake right now. Boosting Cade back up. They get to peer into this B site and just get a look at what's not being given to them. Now they gotta find what needs to be taken.
I mean, no fights given for One Win mean that Ruby can't go back in, but they stepped forward anyway. They didn't have a kit here. Unless I missed one, I don't think they had one at all. Yeah, I don't love that. I think that One Win, they could have made the mistake and given them a chance. Look at this clear from Hobbit, by the way. But when One Win don't overstep, when they don't swing, Ruby have to give this up before even going back in. Instead, they try and go for it anyway. And it's a mistake that doesn't change the next buy round or anything. But it could long-term, be an economy that Ruby probably could have built upon. Instead, they're going to have to do that from the ground up. It's from $0 instead of much more.
And now Ruby, it seems like, are adjusting to this. A lot more handed, focused to the extremities. No vision in the palace. It's just a jump spot on B. They're aware of where they need to be putting their next actions, but they're still not easy decisions to make. They're still having to put a lot of two players if they want to push into palace. May need 3 to go and pop for a B play. Well, here's a quick look. This isn't going to tell you very much, just that they're not engaging immediately for an A play. One Win. We're going to be finishing back towards B. What a surprise.
Yeah, and the op was posted in apartments. No longer the case. Taking a position now and up through mid. Cronus not reacting to get it spammed, but this is still a B attack. That hasn't changed. Inters goes down on the lurk and everything's gone wrong.
Couple things gone very, very well, though, for these entry fraggers. These nades better keep themselves accountable. Just the gun being fluffed out there, sprayed into command. Trying to quick scope, back to it. Hopping on 16 HB. It's the world right now, Ruby. And they need this round more than anything else of this game. Able to secure this 1 kill. Hobbit is having to just harp off of that op angle. He knows he doesn't have a real stake back in this round. He tries to drive it further anyway. Gets put in his own heart. at least one of the first 6 rounds will go to the CT side. Ruby, they have their first.
They do, but honestly, I think that One Win making a lot of mistakes here. Super weird to be like 1-3-1. And then this B hit, it's a lot less effective when Cronus goes down in middle. And despite all of those realities, that was a winnable round for One Win. They probably could have brought that back if Lydic just pulls the trigger. He had the shot onto the market guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
bit of gun punch.
I mean, unfortunately, hits the shot but doesn't hit the kill. Just a leg. Again, One Win getting mid control uncontested. This has been a constant thing where Ruby basically do nothing in mid. It's very odd. Not very many teams are going to be playing this way, and I think One Win are a little surprised themselves.
Yeah, but I feel like what I was saying last round was that this was an adjustment off of the temperature that One Win are facing. I think what I'm also, I'm taking surprise from this, but in the way that Ruby aren't just gauging all of this room for free, like sending a guy to walk up in middle and look to take all this room, stand in top mid, and hear everything happening in T-spawn, because that level of confidence isn't there. After 1 round victory, we can certainly see them start to stand on it. Oh my god, Lydic! Going automatic, 2 insane shots out of this AVP. It enters. He's got that next on the Cade. And Trunic, with your head's on the block, you better lock it away and hope for hell that you have just seen one shoulder that you will not peek into again. You know who that was? That was Lydic that just spotted you. Not today. 6 rounds for 1 win.
Holy hell, man, Lydic. I mean, I've been talking about it constantly. It's not like it's gone under the radar, but Lydic has been the best opper in this series, and it's not even close. There's like not even a question mark. You couldn't even start to make an argument even on the other side of that, I don't think. What I do know is that, the surprising factor to maybe go back into that same conversation where we were, where One Win, I do like that they kind of test connector in a way that they haven't. And then get up catwalk. It's a lot more of a dominant split attempt this round for One Win as they make some changes of their own. But yeah, it's the fact that on the extremities they were really passive before. The change that you're highlighting just a couple of rounds ago, certainly for Ruby, to pay a little bit more respect to those extremities. Yes, but even still, even that, there was chances for One Win to take the victory. Despite that fact. And a change for One Win in the next round, and we're right back in business. Finally a fight up in mid. And yeah, a little bit late on the smoke. Cronus pays the price.
Cade, going looking. Feeling that you were just saving that gun away just in the last round. Trunic saw that shoulder, knew he wasn't going to get another chance.
Lawsonator in ladder, now looking window. This is the other adjustment I was just mentioning.
What a find. I mean, that's an easy box to spam out, but normally, when it doesn't go that well, they're unaware of Trunic until I say it. And somebody sees through that smoke, puts a couple silenced A1S shots through it. There is this bomb back towards TV room and a quick scramble to grab. Fozl now has an opportunity to separate these gunfights and win the gun round.
Lydic's currently watching for jungle. The move made back to CT. I feel like Hobbit could straight up go B here, but obviously that in and of itself would be a gamble. Oh, no.
Whiffing. Not what you want to see here. And now back to it. Hobbit down to 32. Give this man a chance. 12 seconds. And he has the clock working for him, too. Organized. Go ahead and just dish this crime out. Hopping on top of the box. Lydic is your bodyguard all damn day, Hobbit. What a first half that One Win are putting into drive right here. This is so impressive at 7 rounds to 1.
I mean, it's a Ruby CT side. It's normally pretty good here. Swift shots. The fact that Trunic goes down with nothing under Balk is stunning in and of itself. It's Laddick for a double, and it's one win. So as I'm highlighting for Ruby, normally it's the CT side that they do a lot of their good work. Well, it's one win who, really aren't stellar on either direction. It's pretty even. Their spread, their win percentage. Ruby, again, making adjustments last round. Again, getting tested and bested. Here we go again. Cade, this time he gets a flash, goes through bottom con, checks for underpass, nobody home. And it's an opening pick. It's Cronus who's been the victim of that actually a couple of times. Despite Ruby coming into this round with some limitations of their own. Look at the MP9s, only a couple of M4s to make sure they can keep buying next time. Consonator who finds this opening duel.
McQueen connects to the top of Tetris and finds a man fully armed. 45 seconds and one win. Haven't felt this feeling yet on this Mirage. They are scared. Walking a foot forward. Ozic has got Cade down. He's going to close the back door behind him. All is his manners. Does that mean a guarantee? No, it does not. Here is Ruby reaching over that reservation, and they survive with 4 players to grab that second round. All in the pistols.
Yeah, and listen, it's a big round to win, especially because they just need numbers at this point. Any way that they can win rounds is imperative. But to do so on pistols and, for the type of purchase that Ruby had, it adds a little bit of extra oomph to this purchase and to the next rounds too if things continue to go wrong. Because that's the problem for Ruby. Nothing's gone right. Don't just talk about winning rounds. They've had 2 of them. Now they need to build more than that. They need to finish this out. 5 rounds is the target now. But there's no room for error.
Five rounds the target, but there's always a little bit less of that take. Lose a couple bills along the way. You got to pay somebody off. Got to take care of the little guy. What Ruby do with a pistol round, kind of crafty victory there. They had, I think, a premium rifle in the buy there, but in the balance, it was the smaller of the voices that sang the highest.
Feeling like one win. Want to go back to this B site that's been pretty successful. Again, this adjustment made. It's Cade. He takes a peek down before, and almost never have we seen that type of fight. Where Hasanator is looking to molly top mid. It's such a norm, right? But for Ruby, they've been very passive in that way. Fozel go down. Unfortunately, on the extremity, they lose out.
Oh! Hasanator just goes and gives it a try. Why not just stem the smoke? He gets a full frag from it. One win. They have just cut Cade out of the conversation. So that kill worth its weight in gold at the top of Upper B. And Nada could be... Hobbit, excuse me, could be the next victim on the menu of this pushing Hasanator.
But he's looking for it. Hobbit who walks in. It's not exactly pretty for Hasanator, but it's still a victory. Inter's expecting nobody.
Oh my god! McQueen tracking Inters all the way to Firebox. Got a flash for you. One out of that scope. But this barrel reapproaches. And Laddick, I thought he was approaching this triple box. He wants to wait for the smoke at the site of missiles. Hasanator makes his way over to CT. And now they get to approach this together. But Laddick, he goes deeper, and he just nails Hasanator to the board. McQueen now stares up against Cronus. How does the in-game leader of one win take this into his own account? Up to the clutch. McQueen on one tap, and now that's all you need. Barely even a shot fired. Only one from McQueen. A couple more taps, and I barely feel that Cronus will even need to engage. One more, just for good measure, but it was all a ruse. 8 rounds here, and that goal of 5, Vincent, it's just vanished.
It has, right in front of their eyes as well. From an advantage, stolen back away. 1 win, it's an equalizer. Where Ruby, they had a chance at a 2-on-2. McQueen had started to do enough. He had made that possible with that kill to Inters. But nothing continues forward as Ruby, I mean, every goal that they put up in front of them, they take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Go back to the early round game plan that we've been seeing time and time again. 1 win, not so immediately keen to take mid control. But Ruby, in no means aggressive in their own right. Not one fast mid play from a Ruby CT side this whole half.
Making contact. That's just a warning. 1 minute that they have to watch this out on B, and boys, tighten those laces on A. I'm gonna need some help, McQueen says. He feels the function forming, and now they're gonna be going straight for him. McQueen is the only man that could defend here. 1 flick hit, and now he's got to net a couple more, buying all kinds of time. But he looks at his watch, and while distracted, enters. He cuts him off. Cronus, Laddick, in that time, make this easy. 1 win, are looking to get 9 rounds here in the first half of Mirage. That is quite a deficit to be at. 1v4 to stare back at this, Vincent. And, well, at least you get a freebie.
I mean, it's a freebie, but it's a freebie for survival, not for this attempt or anything of the like. Trunic runs. Trunic looks to hide and survive. But damn, what a half that 1 win have put together already. You know, we're past the point of no return. This is now 1 win's map to lose with 9 rounds on the T side. That is a statement made already. They could even find double digits, which would be unconscionable.
Terrorists win.
After Ancient, I would have said inconceivable. Yet here we are. Top to bottom. You've got 1 win delivering. But to be honest with you, I really feel like Ruby just, they don't have a plan for this CT side, it feels like. It really seems as if their plan is to wait and see what 1 win want to do, and they don't have like good reactions either, which is normally the win condition for a team that wants to play in that style.
It seems like they were barely able to fit the cleats on and actually will play ball today. Nothing's came easily or for free to this Ruby squad. Yeah, well, maybe on Ancient. Mirage, not even close. Hardly competition that you have had here in the first half held. Nothing would make me happier, though, seeing 1 win separated from 10 rounds. See, now I just can't take that, Vincent. I just can't take it.
Back to B. That seems like the plan. Trade up in mid at the beginning of this round. It's Laddick who delivered a refrag. The start where Cade found the opener. Look at this push though. Fuzel. He's all the way through, and Inters can't trade either. Oh, so devastating.
Big problems. Ozic gotta find a big solution. Not happening. Thankfully, my wish granted. It will not be 1 win, seeing to a 10-2 scoreline. Hopping in a 1 versus 4 here. And Fazal seems like moments away from ending his life here. So he walks gun, not pulled in underpass Ruby. They can only take out 3 of these pins, knocking him down for a 3-9 deficit you look at.
It's brutal. For the first time all half, by the way, Ruby playing aggressively in mid. What a silly reload from Cade. We didn't see it from that POV before, but nonetheless, Fozel delivers Ruby a much-needed third round. One that they are going to be thanking their lucky stars that they were able to pull back. Got off Fozel for that. 4 kills. Now, it's exactly as I said a couple of rounds ago. At 9-3, this is 1 wins to lose. Ruby could certainly make an argument here with this comeback, but 1 win, they sit in the driver's seat. They stand tall in the first half. And at the end of this, I think if they have this type of lead and they aren't able to convert off of it, they will be having a lot of more problems than just Ruby. Just around, looks like early it wants to go to B.
Actually running after it with that smoke dropped. All they have to do is log who is here, but right now just thrown into the shredder. Hobbit, he's got 2 on his... Oh my god! Hossinator just melts it all away. The worry that Hobbit was presenting. Yeah, the idea. Won't even get sprouted in the rest of the heads. Domed. And now Ruby, well, all you need to open a debate, have a discussion. You mentioned an argument here for the second half. Well, there's their opening statement.
And Hobbit, I mean, he looks into this only temporarily. What ridiculous confidence after Hobbit gets 2 kills on Catwalk. For Hossinator to just swing door, and on unfortunate timing for 1 win where they're almost lined up for the Glock. Hossinator saves the day. He sets them on a track that is the comeback trail. This could not have gone better at the very beginning. For it all to go so wrong so quickly thereafter.
One win swallow their pride. Maybe we'll have a little bit of fun along the way. I see a Zeus out on the battlefield currently. And a lot of bodies on B. We might be waiting this one out. It'll be a 5th round chucked up into Ruby's catalog pretty easily. As they sign for it right here.
Yeah, I mean, 1 win. Back towards B. Doesn't happen. No B hit coming. Ruby probably, a little sigh of relief that they don't have to worry about anything this round either. Hobbit the only one who has any Kevlar from his saved weapon.
Picked up a Galil for a moment. Used it pretty well. Able to get 1 more casualty dropped out here. Hobbit and enters right around the corner. Become history, but make some before you go down. Trunic saw Fozel go there, and he wanted to put a stop to it. 3 casualties. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm pretty much loving that 1 win get that much out of this. Ruby, they have done the correct moves in order to make this a competitive game now. The next step in that process is the hardest one thus far, and that is to win the first gun round. Got an extra MP or Mac 10, excuse me, that they're gonna hang on to. The first of these, Vladik wields an op, but without Kevlar to back it up. This is a huge gamble that Cronus is making right now. Steps off of the B site. He's going to set up with Hobbit towards mid. And the B site is under the biggest pressure at the moment. 3 players for the T's right outside of their front door.
They have no vision into middle right here. This is all off of feeling a prediction. By a couple more seconds. That's not a Molotov, it's actually smoke thrown. They're going to be plowing through this. Ozic going to be able to net a double right here. Hold the phone. 1 win. They're answering. Ruby got to dial a couple more entry frags right here into B. And a star, Trunic, gets this through and hops into the window smoke. Laddick finds him. Gone a bit too far. And McQueen getting tripped up. Can't even get his butt down on the bench before he has sat right on the cold hard ground. 10 for 1 win here as they are 3 away from putting out Ruby in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, listen, that's Trunic trying to make a winning play, right? Like, it is a little bit boneheaded, it feels like, when he's just walking right into an op that's holding the smoke. But there's a world where that actually goes a lot better. Ozic, there was one way to win this round, and that is him finding a double kill like this. Allows Cronus to get into position, and if Cronus goes down, you know, it doesn't seem to matter, right? The numbers advantage maintained there by 1 win. And Ozic is the one to give it to him. That is beautiful stuff. 1 win. It was 1 chance, and they nail it.
Queen bought all the way down. Usually it is only the opera that will not usually like sit with the rest of the force. So with this in mind, see McQueen dragging along for this, and well, he's lost the bait right here. He tried to walk the dog down middle, and unfortunately he's lost that dog.
Yeah, and Hobbit, who was in some trouble, he actually swung with a nade out, got smacked with a deagle, but he survives. Cronus swings from Cat. Now McQueen, the one man who had the gun, he's the last left alive.
CCT got to see to the longest of the lifeline and even find another frag before it went down. Shoot to the shame. Shot up top. Ozic still getting the treatment. McQueen, 16 seconds here, and both players are around this corner. Cronus has a 4K of his own. A bonus feeling for 1 win. Running into this 3rd map, getting to wash out Ruby like they currently are. We'll see if this end result sticks alongside it, as when 11 rounds pop up on the scoreboard, this is where Ruby are going to have their next best opportunity for a gun round here in this Mirage.
Lovely. And while it is a little bit more expensive on the back end of that, thanks to that AK, I mean, I feel like McQueen, it would have been nice for him to have a weapon this round too. Because of that, he's going to have to go without, with less. Some mid-control. Ruby feeling the pressure, though, of a little bit of defense is set up. Feels inevitable that this goes towards A. They do have the chance to pivot with all 4, including the bomb. Still in mid. Up connector is the move.
But fading out of that cage, shoulder spotted and cut. They're already getting it from Inters up at the top of the site. He has to turn focus over towards default, and I mean, that is just a riveting shot at a Trunic right here. Cronus squared up for somebody to push in the jungle for so long in the ring. He finally got his shot. Right now swinging for it. Automatic repositions Trunic, keeping them in this round space by space. Laddick here is hitting the hard ones, but McQueen up in another clutch. This one actually winnable. McQueen puts it into a 1 versus 1 and now weighs his options. He knows the stakes are already putting enough weight on this round. Laddick, he's got a kit here and a 5-second defuse. You just got to move an inch closer. You're going to be enraged rewatching this. McQueen on the demo, going to be kicking himself for just looking and biding his time around that angle. It was just a foot away from being spotted here. But no matter, it's 12 rounds that get into the camp of 1 win first. I want to see a couple replays of these shots right here from Laddick, because this guy is absolutely filthy, man.
I thought for sure he could see the wires coming off. I thought for sure he had a look at it. It seems no. Ruby pick up pace. They sprint up catwalk. In defense, Trunic gets his 1, but it's more than that. On the CT side, looking to send him home out of this map and the series.
A nade up just teases McQueen. 12-5 here. It's about to be just whipped into 13 as I think this is it. McQueen, it's always you. It's always you left up in the clutch. But it seems like his opposing AWP player has got the exclamation mark at the end of this series. On top of his performance particularly, really great stuff here all day long from 1 win as they survived the reverse sweep. Ruby did not have legs in this Mirage after all.
No, and I mean, individually kind of felt like they fell off the map a little bit there. But beyond anything, I just think you got to talk about how bad the CT side was, right?
Yeah.
You know, and credit where it's due for 1 win taking advantage of that. They had a lot of good calls themselves to, you know, make sure that those gaps that were open and those issues that we talked about a lot on the CT side were taken advantage of. But like top to bottom, I think 1 win, they took what they were given. It was mostly Ruby falling apart in the CT side of Mirage, and that was just too much. 9-3 on the half, as I highlighted at halftime. 1 win, they did all they needed to. They just need to finish the equation. Finish, they did.
Not as easy as we serve it up to seem, right? All they got to do is finish the equation, man. I don't know. Math ain't too easy for me, but to add it up in the server, they'll get it done, Vincent, and exactly on the precipice that they will. I think this is a really good batch of games that we got here, and the ones that we did get to see, still a little bit of bummed that we didn't get to watch Amcal versus Senza today, but Amcal, they'll always like a freebie, Vincent. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. A free one for Nafni in the boys, as you get to see. I mean, some of these other pretty notable names in the CIS continue to frag out and really do some great work here today. Tomorrow, you're going to get more of the same here at this 1-1 stage. Well, to start off your day, but then to finish after that, you got 2-0 on the card. So big games tomorrow, Vincent. High stakes for sure.
100%. I mean, 500 and Arc Red, that one's one that I've got my eyes on. The question of two guys that are a little bit surprising to be in that stage at Eclat and Reason, if we're being honest. I think there's a lot of fun stuff to be looking forward to there.
That Reason should take that.
I mean, listen, they've been looking really good. I'll be honest. Eclat a little bit shaky, so I think I'd back you on that. You've convinced me. The good news is that we have a lot of that action coming at you tomorrow. We appreciate you tuning in for this evening, though. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time at the CCT. For now, peace out and have a good night.